Zdravo svima. So, just a quick update video. So I started learning Greek, and in this video I'll talk about how I plan to do it and how you can learn Serbian by applying the things that I want to apply to my journey of learning Greek. So, of course, you know what this channel is about. It's about learning Serbian through comprehensible input. So, I believe that we learn languages that way. When we consume the language and when we understand what we hear or what we read to some degree, and then that slowly but surely builds up and we start understanding more and more and more until eventually we reach fluency. So that's how language learning works for any language. So that's what I plan to do with Greek. I just want to start with something simple, something that I can understand, and then watch more difficult things after that. Start introducing more difficult things, and then eventually my brain will start picking up Greek and it will just feel natural to me. That's what I plan to do. And usually I'm not a big proponent of studying grammar and stuff like that. I don't think that there are many good apps for language learning, but one of the rare good apps when it comes to for language learning is language transfer, which I plan to use, which I started using for Greek. It's not really a grammar app or an app that explains Greek in a traditional way. It's something completely different, something completely unique. And yeah, usually I would not use any apps, or I would use an app like to just review vocabulary and stuff like that, just to form that base at the beginning. But this time, because there are not many languages on language transfer, but there is Greek, and it has 120 lessons, which is the most of any language that they have. So yeah, I'm in luck because I really like the way that they explain languages. If you're learning by any chance any of the languages that they offer, please check it out. Language Transfer, it's a completely free app. There are no any ads or anything like that. So it's 100% free. You can just download it and try it out. But as I said, yeah, comprehensible input is the most important thing when it comes to trying to acquire a language. So I started listening to Greek music, which I very much like, and I also started watching a TV show in Greek, which is a series about the life of Saint Paisios, an Orthodox saint. So that's an amazing TV show. So check it out if you're learning Greek or if you're just interested in the topic. And I also started, from time to time I also use Duolingo, but it's just like to review some words and stuff like that. And then I try to find these words in context when I'm watching something. So that's what I do. I just try to recognize these words that I see in Duolingo, that I see in language transfer and stuff like that. But language transfer, as I said, also pushes you to think about how the language actually works. So it's a great combination. But the most important thing is immersion, because if I just use Duolingo or something like that, it will give me some exposure to the language, but it will not be enough. And also language transfer. So I try to use that, but then the structures, the words, the sentences, the phrases that I hear, I try to recognize them in context when actually listening to real Greek. So that's what I recommend that you do with Serbian. To be honest, one of the things that it's not ideal when it comes to learning Greek is that there is not a lot of content made with comprehensible input in mind for beginners. So when I try to search on YouTube comprehensible Greek, Greek comprehensible input, I can only find like 10 videos or something like that are made with this methodology in mind. So it's not really easy to start learning Greek with comprehensible input because there is not a lot of content. But as I said, I'm trying to combine these things and build my base that way. But if you know some channels or some apps or resources that can help me to learn Greek that are based on comprehensible input, please let me know in the comment section below. I would be very grateful to you. But yeah, the first thing that I plan to do is build that base. So I'm using language transfer. From time to time I'm using Duolingo, I'm listening to music, I'm watching a series, and everything that I hear anywhere in Greek I try to recognize in context when I'm consuming Greek. So that's what I recommend that you do with Serbian. So just find resources that you enjoy. On my channel you can find a lot of videos and a lot of stories in Serbian and a lot of comprehensible drawing videos. So that's what I want for Greek, but I can't find it anywhere. Start with that and build on that. So just find a combination of things that will make it easier to consume Serbian in your case every day consistently. And when you reach a certain level, and if you expose yourself to Serbian enough, you will naturally be able to watch more complex things. And that's what I plan to do with Greek. So your beginning may be difficult. Mine certainly is, but I don't want your beginning to be difficult. That's why I also created a course for learning Serbian through comprehensible input. So it's a complete system that will help you start learning Serbian from zero through comprehensible input. So everything is based on the methodology of learning, of acquiring Serbian through comprehensible input. So there are hundreds of videos and stories and videos that talk about how to actually apply all of that. And there is also a 30-day learning path that will guide you through your first 30 days of learning Serbian. And everything is, as I said, with comprehensible input in mind. So if you're a fan of this way of learning Serbian, and if you want to see if you actually like it, you can check it out risk-free for 7 days. And if you don't like it, I'll just give you your money back. So it's as simple as that. But first, watch a few videos on my channel. First, check out a few videos on my channel, a few stories, a few drawing videos. You have a lot of them, and then you can also try out the course risk-free for 7 days. But yeah, I plan to learn Greek through comprehensible input. As I said, for me, because I don't have this luxury, I don't know if there are any courses either. So if you know anything like that would help me, that's based on comprehensible input for Greek, let me know. But yeah, your beginning doesn't have to be that difficult. At least I'm trying to make it easier for you. But yeah, I will form that base, and as I said, then after some time, what's great with learning languages with comprehensible input, everything becomes comprehensible input, everything that's in that language. So everything in that language is input, but after some time, everything becomes comprehensible input, which means that you can, after some time, when you get better, you can understand virtually anything, at least to a degree. So that means that if you understand like 80% of something really complex in Serbian, you will be able to acquire the other 20% thanks to your already existing knowledge. So the better you get, the more opportunities you have to actually acquire Serbian, because everything in Serbian becomes comprehensible to a degree which you can use to your advantage. So that's what I plan to do with Greek, and that's what I recommend for you. And yeah, this is the place where you can do it. On my channel, If you don't want to buy my course, just subscribe, and I will also be uploading a lot of videos on this channel as well. So that's about it. I hope to see you there, and ciao, vidimo se.